Today, I'd like to introduce to you perhaps the next great legend in channel history, the one and only generational shortstop Hank Holder. Number 1 overall draft pick in year 2 of the Marlins franchise, and we are going to have a chance at having one of the greatest prospects that's going to come through any of these franchises help lead the way for our rebuild. Welcome everybody, we're on the Marlins franchise here, MLB The Show 25. Today we're playing spring training. We're trying to see what this team looks like going into year 3. And for one day, I'd like to play some spring training games, get used to some of the new players, and see if Hank Holder is indeed ready to make his major league debut as an 18-year-old superstar, generational. I mean, throw out all the buzzwords you got there, because we're talking about a player with 99 speed, 99 potential. He already has contact and powers in the 60s and 70s. I mean, he's an 83 overall shortstop, which makes him better than all but 13 shortstops in the game by overall rating. So, we're going to do some player lock games. We're going to maybe play a full game at some point once I feel like I have enough reps with Hank Holder. And we're going to see some of the other new faces on the team as well. There is the addition of outfielder Jock Peterson. I've also been given a second chance here to Alek Thomas, who couldn't crack through to join the Diamondbacks core. But we are the perfect team to take on those players. Think of like Gavin Lux, who's like playing well in Cincinnati right now. Guys who are maybe 26, 27, missed their chance on a more contending team, but can still fit into the timetable of a team like the Marlins. Alek Thomas, being just 26, was one of those perfect players to take a chance on. And then the Rule 5 edition, Cole Carrigg. He plays catcher, shortstop, outfield. Really excited about him. I think he could use some more time at the minors, but I was able to scoop him up on a Rule 5 draft pick without having to give up anything for a player that I'm really intrigued with, both here in the game and in real life. Like, Carrigg is the number 3 prospect in the Rockies organization. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Gotta train the fielding for Holder. I think I've already adjusted a lot of the training already. Hank Holder, sure enough, is already on fielding. It'll probably be cycled through everything here throughout the course of the year, but fielding is where I have it right now. And I have to make sure when I make these debuts with guys, we've already edited them, and so we, don't change the batting stance and everything right away. Can we get some Jordan gear on Hank? So I've given him Nike everything already, Derek. Think about Holder as the next big thing. Think about when, if you can remember back to when, Bryce Harper was coming up, and he was an amazing player playing high school in Las Vegas, and he was a household name by the time he was even drafted. I'm thinking that's the type of prospect we have here in Holder. Nike across the board. I've customized the cleats, the glove. He's rocking the gold chain, and I've also given him a batting stance, and we'll see if I like it. I haven't actually taken swings with him, but I had an idea about what I wanted. Typically with these players, I'll see what their stance is and everything, and I'm like, okay, this is, your personality. Maybe I tweak things slightly. Like Daryl Marino, I think, was a player whose swing I had to tweak at one point, or Yusniel Cruz in the A's franchise. But I have not yet taken any swings with Hank Holder, even for just a practice run or anything. You're going to see the start of everything here in this stream. And if you want to see more of Hank Holder and the future of his career, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Playlist down below for the Miami Marlins franchise. And we'll get into games here very shortly. Yeah, I can give him the modern helmet once he's actually listed at the majors. That is a good call. So we've promoted Hank Holder. Afternoon, Kane. Reza sends a super chat. Are you excited for the draft this week? I am interested in what no-name lineman the Packers will select in round 1. Yeah, it'll either be an offensive lineman or like a safety. Maybe another off-ball linebacker if they just want to maintain all the recent trends. To be honest, I am probably less in tune to the draft this year than any point in the last like 20 years. I kind of just felt like after the NFL season, and maybe it was like the way the Vikings season ended, maybe it was the fact that we were getting football games like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Maybe it was that we got a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl. But I've just like taken a break from NFL everything the last couple months. I'm just kind of in baseball mode, and like I'm not watching a lot of pre-draft content. I'm kind of looking to get back into it when the draft is already settled and everything. So I'm not really excited for the draft in a huge way. Like the football excitement will come back at some point, but for right now, just kind of like whatever to me. What do you guys like for a helmet here? We're not going with the minor league helmet. Ventilated. Mock Pro. You don't get a lot of options here. I kind of like the ventilated. Rawlings. The Rawlings Mock Pro with the chin guard. I don't really like the look of the chin guard. So Hank Holder is going to get every opportunity to become our everyday, probably third baseman, I'd say right away. But as far as spring training goes, I think we should get a look at him like in all the infield spots he can play. Short, second, third. Just get an idea of, you know, what that 99 speed can do. I know that doesn't make a huge difference in the infield, but maybe he can get to some balls that another guy can't, which makes him intriguing long-term at short. We just look at Otto Lopez and the fact that he's already a solidified, very good defensive shortstop on a team whose defense is terrible. So I think that for his debut, we are going to give Holder the chance to play short. And then we're going to get Jock Peterson there in probably as the DH. I would like to see Connor Norby get some reps in left. So can he handle that a little bit? And then as the third baseman then, maybe I'll have, where is our guy, Otto Lopez? He can play some third here for a game. Drew Jones there as the DH. How about Jones in center instead? We'll take Ruiz probably out and get Jock Peterson in there. So the lineup is probably going to look a little bit different. We're going to make Holder kind of work his way up a little bit. And then let me get something set up here for the lefties too in case we play one of those here early. So where is he on here? We'll get some Cole Carrigg reps in today too. Alec Thomas. Like, I love to do these streams to play with all the new talent that we end up acquiring. I know that spring training isn't the most exciting thing, but when you have new faces, I think that it does make it interesting. You know, the games don't count, so you can experiment a bit. That's a big plus. We'll get a more official lineup going at some point later on, but just as a rough kind of start, Perez, Cabrera, Weathers, Meyer, Biozzo, and I also want to make sure we get plenty of looks now at Robbie Snelling, who I just put on the 40-man roster. He is going to have a chance at making the opening day team. Shortstop to center field, outfield seems to be fairly common conversion, and could we realistically consider it? I'm open to some transitions at some point. Like, I've often thought about, like, what's the best way to give a guy a new position. So, like, the way I've been doing things is, say we have third baseman Connor Norby here, who can play left or right. What I'll do after, like, half a season of play time, say, like, 50 to 80 starts, is I will then take, like, left field and make it his primary position, and then move third to one of his secondaries. If we're talking about a brand new position, I think it makes sense to do that, like off-season spring training, make it a secondary, because, you know, guys do train to learn new spots, and it's not always guys who are amazing defensively. I mean, there is like a 5'6" left fielder there in Houston who's just, you know, sliding out there to give Brendan Rodgers reps at second base. So Jose Altuve in left. I mean, teams do things even when they might not be optimal. So I think that we could look at Lopez playing center, but I don't know that it would really increase his odds of getting on the field more. Are we going to get Johnny Grieve in spring training? I haven't made that move yet, and it's because we are already adding Holder into the equation along the infield. Grieve is also an infielder, and we're moving Norby around. And Edwards, like, he's not going to DH, so he's got to be somewhere. I just don't have, like, an easy spot to play Grieve right now and project that he's, like, at the bigs in the short term. I feel like we have to navigate this mess first with Holder and reshuffling, and then move on to Johnny Grieve. So I think that without further ado, everybody, we get into our first player lock game of the day. And we're giving Hank Holder every chance to show us what kind of a player he is. Why is he already getting boosts? He is so good. Already an 83, already getting better, and he's never even played an inning of professional baseball. Here we go. Edwards, center field. I am open to that to make way for Johnny. Like, we might have to just accept that outfield defense is going to be weak. You know, as we grow this team, maybe Norby plays in left, maybe it's Xavier Edwards. You guys like the Miami Marlins tank top, by the way? I've had this for like 10 years. I don't know if I've ever wore it on a stream before. Like, I didn't get it for the series. I just was, you know, long-term preparation. I forget when I even got it. I can't remember if it's when I went to Florida sometime or when somebody else went to Florida. It's been so long. If Norby doesn't perform, why not move Hank to third? What's most likely going to happen is Holder opens as the third baseman this year. Because Otto Lopez, super good at short. Norby's defense, not good at third. So we can already have good shortstop defense, big upgrade there at third base. Whereas, you know, his skills at second might not be used as much. So a lot of you suggested Hank Holder to wear number 2, just like Hanley Ramirez, and I liked that idea. We'll see if he can become a superstar. And Ramirez was a very good player for the Marlins for a while. A nice routine play there at short as we get started. And we should be getting that first AB. Time to see what 83 overall, 99 potential looks like. I can't believe 800 of you are in here right now. Shout out to all of y'all. Michael King misses outside. Number 1 prospect here. And let me drop the camera into a more favorable spot. The veteran Michael King. I do like the stance for Holder. Also, he's like 6'2", 225 pounds. Like, he's built like A.J. Brown. Let me get the height weight on him again. 6'2", 228 with 99 speed. Like, that is freaky, guys. Which stance was it again? I'll show you. It's like veteran 427. But we got a 2-strike count here against King. Really good pitcher. We can get to one that I am better off letting go. Yeah, I want to make sure that I'm editing all these guys before we ever see them on the field. So I want them to have a more distinct look and customized gear and everything. If they come in, though, with, like, sleeves and bands and different things, like, I tend to leave those be. And Holder gets a hold of one, and it's run down and right. That one drifted closer to the right fielder than I thought it was going to. Hits one out to Lars Nootbaar. One of our friends from the Cardinals franchise. Good contact, though. We want to see good exit velocity and just... we want that, that contact to be loud. Oh, yeah, it's going to be hot in these sleeves in Miami. That's the one thing we could look to change. Because where's he from? Massachusetts? I don't know that the sleeves are going to be as necessary down here.
1-1.
All right, so we go from facing Michael King. Now we're facing Sonny Gray. Oh, man, he's under it. Yeah, that's going to be one that they're not getting away with a whole lot if everything goes as planned. What's Oscar McNabb's build for reference? I'm trying to see something. McNabb's like your typical 5'10", 180-pound speed receiver. I don't know the exact off the top of my head. But I would say like 5'10", 5'11", 180. A drive to left field, and this time he doesn't miss. Hank Holder showing them what could be coming to Miami as soon as opening day. I feel like these pitchers have been trying to give him a chance to show what he can really do. Like King and Sonny both hung sweepers. Now we get the changeup, and Hank Holder shows you why we're excited about Miami Marlins baseball. I do get asked about settings often in these series, and the secret sauce has always been not so much with sliders. I have stamina up on pitching and some error frequency raised, but the secret sauce is always in the Hall of Fame difficulty, and then the gameplay modifiers with timing, hitting, classic pitching, reducing a lot of outcomes to ratings-based outcomes. What a start for Hank Holder. I also wouldn't mind some more defense. Yeah, he's Hanley 2.0. Hanley Ramirez. Oh. My swing hasn't been great the last couple of sessions playing, so to get that homer out of the way early feels great. Hey! Get him out of here! You can't throw inside on Hank Holder like that. Well, I guess we're going to have to steal second now, and Drew Jones might have other plans for us.
Now batting, third baseman, Otto Lopez.
Otto Lopez now at the plate. We're going to take off again, and if that's in the dirt, good luck. He's standing. Y'all see yesterday, Marlins do that all the time against Ronald. False. I do remember that being a big storyline there. It only gave me one defensive opportunity, though. 915 of you are here to watch Hank Holder's spring training debut. And, yeah, let's go. Can you give me... Doesn't it have, like, highlights? Like the more cinematic camera angle here? Maybe not right now. This was number 1, though, of spring training. Off of Sonny Gray. Wait, that was the pop-up. Not Sonny Gray. I hit the wrong one. Off of whoever the lefty was. Man. Hank sells tickets. Man, I wish there was more of an element in this game to actually having to, you know, like, we all love the owner's box, and a lot of that is due to, like, PS2 nostalgia playing Madden. Like, I want that in MLB. Like, let my budget be determined partially on, like, ticket sales, concessions, and everything, and, like, bringing people into the ballpark. Like, they already, like, don't fill the park all the time and whatnot, but I would love to, like, manage that stuff while having, like, you know, a player like Hank Holder boost everything for us. We're gonna do it again. Yeah, MVP Baseball did that, right? You know, it's been almost 20 years since I was heavy into that game, and that was an EA game, so I forget if they had a lot of owner's box related stuff. I didn't really play owner mode, I don't think, because they split it, right, between owner and franchise. I've been thinking about revisiting some of those older games at some point here during the summer.
And now, please welcome Use.
Ball 4, take the base.
All right, give me some defense here. Runner at first. Little flip here, easy play there. Hank Holder gets it done. Yeah, I think that the thing with Out of the Park has just been trying to figure out how to make it a good, like, content-based thing for me.
Ball.
With how menu-driven and everything it is, it would take some creativity and some work on my end. Everyone who pitched yesterday for the O's now has an ERA above 10. Yeah, that includes Jorge Mateo. Man, that was an incredible one. 24 runs. I watched a lot of baseball yesterday. And very little of it was with the Minnesota Twins. 3-2. Late. Looking for something off speed, I guess. Yeah, the Twins have revived the Braves season, so don't waste this chance, Atlanta. Matt Olson finally looks like an all-star again. And Michael Harris was phenomenal all weekend. He took away so many hits from a team that doesn't get a lot of them to begin with. And he crushed a home run, I think, Saturday night. Ronel Blanco. Another drive to left field! Guys, 0-2, that's a contact swing for me. I hit circle there. And it's 2 homers in 2 games for the one and only Hank Holder. Yeah, I saw the Arise collision. That was scary because, like, guys in baseball don't get carted off very often. 485 vet is modeled after Andrew Susak's swing. Really? That feels extremely random. Hank Holder is already taken over, guys. It is 2 games.
Ball 4, take your base.
This is unbelievable.
3. Ball 4, take the base.
Can we get to 1,000 people in here? Can someone call 33 of their closest friends? We're at, oh, we went down from 967 to 955.
Now batting. Number
All right, what's next? We have yet to see a base hit for Hank Holder. I like the stance. Ah.
It's 0-1.
How are we losing 7-6 or 7-4? That one's popped up for the catcher. Yeah, I'd like to get some more swings in here in spring just to kind of get my timing recorrected for the real thing. Love the Vikings, but when it comes to baseball, love me the Yankees because of the GOAT A-Rod. I was a big A-Rod fan back in the day, too. I remember when I was in, like, elementary school, I had an Alex Rodriguez, like, Rangers shirt. And then he went to the Yankees, and I was less of a fan.
Ball.
I appreciate the super chats, though, Braden and Andrew. What's the camera angle? So, it's custom. People seem to like my, my hitting cam a lot. I start off with fisheye 2, and then I tilt down, and I bring the left stick down as well. Like, I'm trying to line up the batter's box kind of with the bottom of my screen a good bit. And then I want it to feel like the pitcher is just throwing straight at me. I don't like the tilt shift view because it makes it hard to read under the zone. Everything inside's been late so far. 96 isn't overwhelmingly fast. All right, that's another game with a home run for Hank Holder. 2 in 2 weeks. 2 games, I mean. Let's do one here with him at third base. Will you sign him to a 10-year contract after year 1? If everything goes as planned, that's what I would like to do. I know when you go to free agency, you're no longer able to like front load and back load deals. But if I'm re-signing a guy, do I then have the ability to? Because my thought with Holder is that I would sign him to a mega deal and front load it. Because we're like rebuilding and not spending a ton of money. So if I could front load the deal and just, you know, deal with paying him more early on, and every year it gets easier and easier. I can't do it anywhere? That stinks, because then I can't do that.
now batting. Right
Stone Garrett. Oh, runner at first there thinks he's as fast as Hank Holder with 99 speed. Well, watch this, buddy. That's going to be a double play. Started by Hank Holder at third base. All right, I need some more solid swings.
number 2.
Jake Irvin.
Ball.
I love this stance, and I'll get you guys the proper stance after this
Hee-haw.
as he spins in the slurve. That time I was early on it. I'm in the better direction there at least. That was late. I know it says good, but that would have gone to right field.
Ball.
And chances are he'll be, you know, very high in the order guy. You know, I don't have the same philosophy as a lot of teams. Like, I wouldn't hit Shohei Ohtani number 1. I'd probably hit him number 2. Like, I'm still not a fan of playing my best overall guy at 1. even if it, like, maximizes his expected at-bats per game, I'd still stick that guy 2 or 3. Ah, he might beat this out, though. Maybe not. All right, so hitting 250, 2 for 8 with 2 homers. And now against Ranger Suarez, bases loaded. You can never check when you want to, only when you don't.
That's a ball. 1-1.
Yeah, I think that's one thing with Ohtani is his speed and base stealing ability is so much better than the rest of the team. Is like you don't want to risk him potentially being behind someone that slows him down on the bases. And I guess Holder with 99 speed, that would also kind of check out. But when you have a guy on your team like Xavier Edwards, who has like a 380 on base with speed, hard to not hit him one.
3-1.
All right. We are getting an RBI, okay? If the Minnesota Twins could be watching, it's an off day. I know that they should be watching right now. Blowing bases loaded, 1 out or less situations needs to stop being the team tradition. Thank you, Braden, for the super chat. Can we get a Golden Gophers dynasty? NCAA 26. I don't see me revisiting Minnesota. That's how you do it right there. Just take a walk and drive a run in. The Twins had the bases loaded twice yesterday with 1 or less outs, and the only run they scored was because of a wild pitch. They didn't even earn it. I'm not mad about it. Drew Jones. I'm going 3. Yes, sir. Drew Jones, RBI single. That's a 99 speed walk. That's right, Olympic speed walker. Otto Lopez takes inside. I could steal home right now if I wanted to. Let me increase that lead. I'm scoring. Oh. When you see Hank Holder's blazing speed out of the corner of your eye, it's very easy to take your eye off the ball. It's an amateur move, but it happens.
Leading off for the Marlins.
We're still losing.
Number 2.
Ball.
I don't think I've ever stolen home, by the way. One and one. On the ground and at short. Still got him by a step. We put a ball in play. All right, so we got a 2-game home run streak going right now with Hank Holder. That's on the line here, bottom 8, against Chad Green. Green, something that Hank Holder can also expect to see a lot of, perhaps early in his career.
One and one.
Some of their misses have been pretty wild. You know, like, you see a lot of bad misses against some of the best hitters in the league. Is that because they're afraid of Hank Holder already? They're missing by a foot?
2 and 1.
If this was Javier Sanoja at the plate, would they be missing by that much?
Right.
Why?
2 and 2.
I might have to work on my discipline here with Hank Holder. If I swung at that one, though, he would have reached first base on a strikeout run to first. Yeah, we're over 1,000 viewers here. I appreciate everybody on very short notice, a Monday afternoon. I was not expecting 4 digits here, but welcome to the Hank Holder Show. We're going to fight off the cutter. I'm enjoying it. Is there anything I can do to change the... Is the PA not saying his name? I keep hearing them say Otto Lopez. But I haven't paid enough attention because I just keep talking so much with Hank Holder. I can't really just appreciate the moment. He gets the bunt down. Hey! Not cool, man. Have you thought about doing a simulation style franchise for the show? Honestly, I like things the way I do it here. You know, I think the game plays out in a very ratings-based way with the settings that I have. It's just, for Madden, I do, like, really enjoy the GM style of doing things. And I don't feel like I'm losing a lot by just kind of being the GM for that series. But here in MLB, this is how I want to play the game. We're going to do at least a couple more. Where did you draft this guy? I don't recall it in your recent draft episode. Maybe you're talking about the draft from the first year, because in year 2, he was the #1 pick. There were 2 prospects there that really made sense. It was Hank Holder and Darryl Ingram, and you weren't going to go wrong either way. Do you want the 18-year-old outfielder or the 18-year-old shortstop with 99 speed? They both have out-of-this-world potential. They're both basically generational, but Hank Holder at 83, 99 speed at shortstop. Hard to find anybody that's better than him. Let's check out his batting stance again. So it is veteran stance 483 with a swing type of one-handed style 2, default stride. Because I wanted the big leg kick in there. Sometimes it helps my my timing down. That's why I like hitting with Jonah Bride so much. And then I don't know if there's anything for like the PA announcing him. Yeah, Hank Holder. We have the audio there. Now, I noticed that I'm not able to offer him a contract yet. I'm not sure if it's because I didn't have him on the 40-man roster, like, early enough. Because I think everybody else on our 40-man roster is showing up. But then, like, Cole Carrigg isn't here. So, a few guys are missing from the list. I cannot sign him whatsoever right now. Let me save, by the way. Yeah, maybe it's because he hasn't made a debut. How do you feel that Jonah Bride is a Twin? You know, the Twins are out of ideas right now, it seems. So just taking a guy who's thriving in the Marlins franchise feels like a decent, sound strategy. And I'm looking forward to seeing him play more with the Twins this year. Although we had a rough go of things to start the season in Miami. Yeah, from this screen, I can't do any front or back loading no matter what, so contracts are just flat in this game, and I'll have to keep that in mind when I'm trying to think of an extension then when the time comes for Hank Holder. Should we take the sleeves, roll the sleeves down, maybe? Where do they keep the undershirt stuff? You can do compression sleeves. Yeah, maybe we get some wrist tape there if we don't do the sleeves. Let's try that out for a day. Yeah, big thanks to everybody coming out to the stream today. Over 1,000 of you here. I'm glad there's so much excitement for this series. You know, I feel like it has the similar vibe to the A's franchise. Now, when I did the A's series, it was almost all I did for like a year. Not almost all, but I did the series for about 12 months. And I'm now trying to do these series in a lot less time. So there's going to be a lot of Miami series coming here to close out April. But May and June are really, like, I think, prime time to get a ton of these episodes out and see how far we take this team. And hopefully this is the guy that is the superstar going forward. And don't forget, this year we have the number 4 overall selection.
No, that's a ball. One ball. No
So we're going to be adding some more good young players to this team. A little early there. Are you ever going to do an EAFC career? So this stuff was actually on my mind a lot the last few days with like games I don't really get to. And I do think like the best way for me to branch out and try some new things is to do it live. A drive to left now. He's under this one. Back at the wall and run down.
Batting 8, center fielder, number 8.
Almost.
You're out. Out. Three.
But I do think like the only way I'm going to branch out is to do more things live. And to not like commit to a series or anything, but to have you guys there to help me out and just to come on for a few hours. It's a good use of my time. I'll get more out of it, I think, doing it live.
One ball. One strike.
Like I think about what am I going to do to like when it comes to the main channel and trying to, you know, grow the content, expand. Am I just going to be doing Dynasty content wall to wall 12 months a year? And that's it?
Two balls. Two strikes.
I think that, especially this time of year,
Full count.
football season's not going on. We have a big window before it scoops up again. That's when I think I should be busting out a lot more just experimental things streaming. So I talked about playing Road to the Show. I still haven't done that yet. And it's because I just have so much going on right now that I haven't set aside the time to do one of those Road to the Show streams. But I think I'd be way more open to just trying stuff out that way. Whether it be... I would love to come on, by the way. I want to stream. Do I have it in here? This is my favorite basketball game of all time. I'm going home. I got back just in time. In there is Hank Holder. Safe. My favorite basketball game of all time. I have not brought basketball to the channels in 5 years. That's wrong. I like basketball. I don't love it. I like it a lot more than playing it every 5 years. But this game is awesome. NBA 2K10 is one of my favorites that I've played. I'd love to come on here and stream it sometime. And one thing I'd really be interested in is checking out some of the older My Player or My Career modes. Before they became so focused on microtransactions and just... My issue primarily with 2K's career mode isn't even just the microtransactions, but it's when you make your player, that's not even an NBA caliber player right away. You know what I mean? They make your player so bad. You wouldn't be able to score 10 points at the rec center with your player in My Career on day one. The soundtrack on that game, yes, Jammy, it is incredible.
One and one.
A little out in front there. So, like, as I try to learn 2K and maybe branch out for additional content, like, my player, I'm into the idea. But I think I'm more into the idea of an older game's take on it. I don't know when the transition really happened. I'm guessing it was somewhere in, like, the 15, 16 range on the PS4. I'm sure they've always done paid VC for the longest time, but as far as when the grind really took off and it became more of an online-oriented mode. What is Holder's ETA to the bigs? 7 seconds.
Counts full.
You should give Football Manager 24 a try. See, that to me
Take it
is
back.
for when I've gotten my a little bit of experience playing some FIFA or FC if I'm playing something new. I got a bunch of the FIFA games, but I really haven't played. I think I tried FIFA 23 or 24 for like an hour like a year ago just to check it out. You guys actually want to know what FIFA game I want to play?
Shortstop, Otto Lopez.
I can't find it. I'm locked in. I just come back to bring him home. Hank Holder scores. Petition to change his name to Hank Hill. Man, he's going to be a little preoccupied to be selling propane here, okay? Jock Peterson hit a grand slam, by the way.
Number 2.
They're making me really patient here. I'm drawing walks. A drive to right! Hank Holder! Number 3 is spring training. The game I was talking about, though, was FIFA Street. I remember playing the demo for it in 2012, and I'm like, this is cool. It's soccer, but half the people on a basketball court size environment, playing area. And I never got the full game after that. Until years later. FIFA Street 3 was a blast. I might have that one. I think I do have FIFA Street 3 if it was on 360. Yeah, I know I have 2 FIFA Street games there.
No, that's a ball. One ball, one strike.
I don't know about y'all, but to me, like, that's the perfect stuff to bust out here in the summer when, you know, the football games aren't here and the ones we're playing are like 10 months old. And summer's like the most nostalgic time of year for me, so to grab some of those old games, stream them, and see if they become videos. You know, we don't have to necessarily do stuff that becomes like video content, but if I just come on and stream for a few hours and I can just, you know, get more familiar with the game and have some fun with that, that'd be enough. Another nice day for Hank Holder. He's homered in 3 of 4 spring training games. Stream a Nuzlocke. You know, I thought about making a 3rd channel for like non-sports oriented things. For the longest time, I wasn't really interested in any non-sports content, but that itch has kind of returned. Not to do, I don't think I would really do a lot of Let's Plays again if I did it. More so, I would prefer to, like, you know, make a video just talking about some of my favorite games that I've been playing or something along those lines. Wouldn't be like Let's Play format, but maybe that and some streaming if I can ever find the time for that. Been a long time since I made content on a non-sports game. How we feeling about our Minnesota Twins?
And now, please welcome
Terrible.
your St. Louis
Do I have any interest in hockey?
Cardinals.
I'd try out the games. I picked up NHL 14. I know that's supposed to be a good one on the 360. But I haven't gotten much experience. I'm most interested in branching out to 2K. Ah! Ah, no. Get. Ah. He's inexperienced, okay? I'm pretty much a fan of all the Minnesota teams, but I can't say I watch a lot of Wild. I've just never watched a lot of hockey. I've never really watched a lot of basketball either, but I do like basketball. I watched some of the Heat Cavs game yesterday when I was out of baseball to watch. Yeah, I'm excited to see, the Wolves, if they can get past the Lakers. Like, I still have some bad memories to Luka against them a year ago. So, the idea of going up against Luka and LeBron in the playoffs, just hard to feel great about that.
Ball 3.
Being a Minnesota sports fan must be painful. Yeah.
That's a ball. Take your base.
That's why we need these games, man. I can't imagine my life if I didn't have another outlet. If it was just watching Minnesota teams rip my heart out year after year and that was it. Wow. I might go live in the woods, like, off the grid. You going to watch the NFL draft? Definitely. I love watching the draft. I just haven't really gotten into the pre-draft stuff this year. I'm sure I'll find some videos and pods. And, there are some players, like, I'm intrigued with. I want to see where they go. But I'm not really into the current talks of the draft or anything. Taking off to third and getting there. Come home, buddy. Come home and score. I don't need the RBI. I don't think I'll do a watch party. I got a busy week coming up, but I'm going to need that time probably to make sure I'm still on top of Buffalo-oriented stuff. I'll probably be working on some editing there Thursday, Friday night. Out to right field. That one has carry, and it is run down again by Newt Barr. I'm excited to see where Travis Hunter goes. I want to know, like, the running back dominoes. There are a lot of good running backs, but when does Genty actually go? And then when does the second guy go? Because there should be, I think, multiple running backs in this first round. I'm interested. Jahad Campbell's just kind of my kind of prospect. Swiss Army knife linebacker. He looks super fun. Malachi Starks.
Ball, no. Ball 2. 2-1.
Cowboys got to go first. Not necessarily first round running back, but it's got to be a priority, you'd think. Holder drives to center. Another one that's run down. I feel the swing coming together. But I'm kind of like wanting to get a hit that isn't a home run. We're just going to give everything a ride to the outfield. We got extras. Holder to second. Holding at third. Off of Takoa Roby.
Now batting, number 8.
Yeah, Tyler Warren at tight end. I know we're going to see him early. And there are like 3 or 4 tight end names that get caught up in these early draft discussions. But to me, like every year, it's like we're doing this again. I am like completely over the idea that the next big thing at tight end has been found. Like, Brock Bowers last year was one of the exceptions of a tight end who, like, oh, maybe he actually did deserve to go that high. But to me, the test is always like, look at TJ Hawkinson. The Lions took him 8, didn't extend him. He's a top 5 tight end. The Vikings trade for him. And it's like, okay, should Hawkinson have really gone at 8? Probably not. Like, even the 5th most valuable tight end to me. Hawkinson's a really good player, but I still think that he was overdrafted. And so I really can't get on board with first-round tight ends very often. Top, like, 12. Especially, like, a bad team. I'm just not into it. When you buy into the Kyle Pitts hype for 3 years in a row, it changes you. So I have a hard time, like, getting excited about Warren or Loveland. Like, if you're going to tell me these guys are the next, like, 650-yard-a-year tight ends, that's fine. If you're going to tell me they're the next game changer, I'll just bet against you and probably be right 80% of the time. I've been there for Kyle Pitts and Eric Ebron and Hayden Hurst. Yeah, Augustine Ramirez called up in real life. I'm super excited to see him get a chance, even earlier than his chance came in my franchise, oddly enough. I was a big O.J. Howard guy, too. For sure. So, we have played 5 games with Hank Holder, 16 at-bats, 4 hits, 3 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 5 walks, too. 1 strikeout. I think we're off to a very, very promising start here with an ISO of 625, 4.5 strikeout percentage. Yeah, I'll face Strider. I love facing Strider. There are some guys that are really good, but you can just figure them out. All right, let's see if we can maintain a 1,300 OPS. Runner in scoring position.
0-2.
No contact. I know I was early on that, but I don't think I was like... I feel like on one of those swings I should have gotten contact. That's okay. I feel good about my timing right now. You're still going to strike out every now and then.
1-0.
Enough of this Hank Holder loser. Where's the real first-round pick? Cole Carrigg. He was first-round pick in the Rule 5 draft. And I think we'll move on and find out some more stuff on other players here after this game with Hank Holder. I've gotten what I wanted to see, though, in a very short amount of time. I wish they'd give me some more defense, though. Like, is there a setting I have toggled where I'm not getting all the defense I could? Ah, impact plays. I need all plays. Base running opportunities. What do I have in the Cardinals series? Because sometimes when I have it on action pitches, that hurts my ability to steal bases. Because action pitches mean it's going to be a strikeout or the ball's in play. Most times. I'll just see how this goes.
Ball.
3-2. We've drawn 5 walks now with Holder.
That's
That
a
one
ball.
almost
Take
hit
your
him.
base.
Runner, runner, runner.
He's in there. Safe.
That was not a bad throw. With 88 speed, you might be out there. We're taking third base now. No, he's thrown out. Spring training is a great time to test stealing third.
Marlins. Number 32. Ronnie Henriquez.
Now, why would I have been here for that one?
Now batting, second baseman Ozzie.
Nobody on base, hit to the right side. And why am I given that one?
Come on, I got it. Heads up.
Because I might be the cutoff man? I don't know. They're giving me the whole 5th inning. I have all plays on? I thought it was all plays I'd be involved in. All right, we're going to change that up then. Impact plays. My plays. Okay. My plays. That's what I need. As a Commanders fan, love what we did in the offseason adding Tunsil and Debo. Hope we trade down and get more picks in this draft. That's kind of where I am as a Viking fan. You know, Minnesota has a first, a couple 4s, or like a first, a 3rd because of compensatory picks, and then maybe a 5th and a 7th. So that's another reason why I'm not super excited for the draft, because there's like probably a 50-50 shot the Vikings don't make a first-round pick. Second strikeout of the day. I'm not going out on an offer, though. I'm not ending my player lock day offer with Hank Holder.
2-2-2.
Some of those outs, though, in the outfield, like, the contact quality is so good. I feel like Holder's XBA right now would be 150 points better than his batting average. 1-0. Oh, he won. So, yeah, I'm going to do... I got to get a hit. One more hit. St. Louis again? All right. I'm going to set up a poll here. And I just want this to get answers. Like, I'm sure those of you in the chat are mostly like excited for a lot of the things that I could potentially do, but I also want to give a voice to those that don't participate as much in the chat and to actually put a number to it. But I want to know if you'd be interested in, you know, streams of, you know, whether it be random older games or just other stuff. Would you be interested in more random streams?
Marlins.
Just a yes or no poll. And I would probably be doing most of that on the main channel because I don't do anything else there but my Buffalo Dynasty. So I think I'd be going on there with, you know, the hope that maybe whatever I do could become a video at some point, but doesn't necessarily need to be. But yeah, if you only watch the main franchise stuff, you know, that's fine. I just want to kind of get an idea of those watching this stream. Not expecting everybody to want to watch everything, especially when my content already asks for a significant portion of your time.
3 balls, 1 strike.
College Hoops 2K8, I got that one. I'm sorry I only ever brought one stream of Kalispell basketball. I was so overwhelmed by that game, I never came back. The menu navigation, the recruiting, playing 2K. I was in over my head.
Yeah! I got a ball, 1 strike.
But I do think that's the perfect way for me to experiment with Road to the Show, because I don't want to just make a video and create the expectation that, like, okay, now there is a regular Road to the Show series that's going to be coming for a long time. But I want to play. I want to check it out. Maybe I'd be down to do a season or 2. And to me, doing that live is like the compromise. If I want to turn it into videos, I could. And maybe I do it after I've done a few of those streams, like I did with the Tim Cannon Road to Glory stuff.
Get down, get down.
I will say that when college football comes out this year, I do anticipate doing like full Road to Glories on the second channel. I do not anticipate doing a series like the Miami Hurricane Dynasty on the second channel. I think my college football Dynasty series will be mostly contained to the main. Because while I like my rebuild franchise format for Madden, I wasn't as comfortable with it in Dynasty, and I think it's because I just don't know the college football landscape as much. And so, like, I don't have a lot to add from our opponents. I don't know their players that well. I don't know a bunch of players just based off of their number like I do in NFL.
Ball 4, take your base.
Base is juiced. A little early. Not getting there. Holder has like 8 walks. Yeah, I've had to take a lot of pitches today. We'll get there. He's only an 18-year-old prospect. Here's to dropping all other franchises until you win the World Series with the Marlins. That's a lot of support for the series.
Nope.
I
Outside.
don't anticipate dropping everything to win a World Series here. But I will be giving it a whole lot of effort here over the summer. Wow. Pop out there for Holder. So the home runs are certainly like carrying a lot of weight right now. We've had some hard hit outs, but only hitting 200.
Ball 1.
But now we have some context. If the average is low, we can still see like, all right, here's the exit velos he's getting and everything.
Ball.
We're working counts. We're still getting on base. That was late. We haven't really seen a sharp single. That wasn't that sharp. That was 74 off the bat, but it's a line drive single.
Runner, he's going.
Hey! 0-1.
Safe. And safe.
Oh, hey.
All right, Drew, you do the easy part now. I've never played F1 Manager. I don't think I've played any F1 games. I've watched a couple of races, but I watched at the wrong time. I watched at like peak Red Bull dominance when their car was just too good. We're just stealing all the bases this year. We're like the Brewers yesterday. Man, I was watching, like, how did they steal 6 bases in 1 inning? Shea Langoliers had one of the worst defensive innings, I think, of his career. Like, 3 of his throws on those steals were offline. There was a double steal where he didn't even bother throwing it to second or third. And that was with, like, William Contreras and Rhys Hoskins on base. He has the best pop time at catcher, but those throws were not accurate. All right, so I'm going to start playing with some other players. Believe it or not, there are other players on this team that are not Hank Holder. So 5 for 21, 3 homers, 5 stolen bases, 7 walks. That's a pretty extensive look at Hank Holder. Been subscribed since the Twins franchise. Being a Miami native, I've always wanted to see you rebuild the Marlins. Go Fish. I appreciate it. Yeah, for all you Dolphins fans that saw the false starts in those series that I tried to put together with them, maybe the Hurricanes and Marlins help make up for it a little bit. All right, we're going to play with somebody else. Do I want to? Questionable. Let's get Jock Jams out there. Our new power-hitting corner outfielder / mostly DH, Jock Peterson, everybody. 37 homers last year, 3 straight seasons of an over 500 slugging percentage. And, you know, maybe he's somebody we end up looking to trade at some point, but power was one of our weaknesses last year. I tend to spend free agency on trying to strengthen one of our biggest weaknesses. Happened to be power this time around.
Designated hitter, Jock Peterson.
That's a ball.
Have I ever done a giant football rebuild? I have a New York Giants series on the second channel here, yes. %85% of you would be interested in more random sports streams. 14% no. 298 votes. Just missed that one. Did Lamont Wade get signed? I'm sure somewhere. I just don't know where. NFL 2K5 streams. I've streamed 2K5 a couple times.
That's ball 2. 2-2.
I'm basically down to play whatever for like random streams.
3-2.
I need that quick way to just try new things out, and streaming is maybe the only way it's ever going to happen.
No, ball 4.
Good take. Cyrus becomes a member here on the channel. Appreciate that. I'm doing a channel member stream, by the way, Wednesday. Got to do it a little bit earlier this month as I have a busy end of month coming up, but I will be streaming for the channel members Wednesday evening. I'll probably be getting some games in here with the Marlins. Some extra games for the early year 3 episodes. That's an out.
On the tag,
I anticipate the opening day episode. I don't care that he caught it, man.
That's ball 4.
That ball flew so straight. You couldn't get a robot to throw it that straight.
Now batting.
But I anticipate the opening day episode probably early Wednesday.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Now, I know in real life, Jock, his baseball savant page is looking pretty ugly. But he can get it together. Just trade into the Braves.
You're out.
I'll probably start jumping around from player to player now as Hank Holder goes 1 for 3 with a double. Calvin Fauché suffers an injury. Put him on the 15-day probably. Probably didn't need to do that. Not yet. Let's see if Norby in left. Who's a better left fielder, you think? Connor Norby or Jose Altuve? Both are infielders, dressing up as a left fielder for Halloween. But if Hank Holder's going to play third, I can't have Norby just standing next to him getting in the way. So he's going to probably play in left.
Batting second, right fielder, Stone Garrett.
Come on, Max.
Norby.
2-2.
Yeah, look at that. Hit right to him, but he caught it.
Batting third. Batting second, left.
All right, we talked last year about how Norby struggled so much against lefties. He lost 5 points of contact and 10 points of power just against lefties. That has to reverse this year. And here is a tough lefty in Mackenzie Gore. Right center. That's what we like to see. Gonna make his way to second and drive home the run. Beautiful. Jonah Bride sitting 545. Is my camera in the way of the stats, by the way? Y'all could have told me I was bad at my job. Didn't know that needed to be said. True. True. Sometimes a light reminder's helpful.
Nope, that's down.
Maybe you did say it, which would kind of reinforce the fact. Come on, Jock.
1-1.
Stop looking at your savant page and just make a good swing on the ball. Throughout his career, I know Jock has platooned a lot. We'll see if he can handle hitting lefties for us this year. That is a possibility that he stinks at it.
That's a ball. 3 balls, 1 strike. Aye. 3-2. That
He eventually draws the walk. Yeah, this is taking a lot longer with looking at all the pitches as opposed to action. I just want to be able to steal more often when I'm on.
0-1's the count.
Base running, open base, action pitches. Watch part of the at-bat from the base runner perspective. Half. Okay. Maybe I like that better. It probably won't affect this current at-bat.
Ball, that's outside.
Will I be doing some Moneyball this series? Depends what your definition of Moneyball is. Like, I'm certainly looking for, like, opportunities as far as, like, getting guys cheap that still have theoretical upside, or, you know, I don't think I'm going to be able to just look at certain metrics and just value those more than other teams, the way kind of Moneyball was implemented in its early days. But I am trying to find ways to maximize value per dollar, for sure.
First baseman, number 12.
Our biggest free agent contract in the offseason was 1 year, $10 million. It is gone. Ruiz type signings. See, I like going for the Esteri Ruizes of the world and Alec Thomas to see if... I just think that's a much higher upside proposition to having Dane Myers. Or, I kept Dane Myers. I keep getting Derek Hill and Dane Myers confused. But I moved on from Derek Hill because it's like, why have a 31-year-old backup outfielder when I could have a 26-year-old backup outfielder? Yeah, I can't believe we've held over 1,000 in here, like, all stream. And I think the Hank Holder show delivered.
Ball. Ball 2.
I just want them to bring the show to PC. It's a little surprising it hasn't been. They brought it to everything else. Like, what was the last ML... This is like great trivia. What's the last MLB game to be brought to PC? Like High Heat 2004? I don't even know if there was a High Heat 2004, but I know, like, a lot of the High Heat games were on PC.
Ball 4, take your base.
I don't remember 2K baseball being there. It could have been, but I just don't remember it. You know, like, there's a big modding community for games like NCAA 14 and other older sports games. I never hear about that when it comes to a baseball game anywhere.
Number 12.
Like, major league game. I'm not even allowing backyard baseball into the conversation. Like, what's the last one? Triple Play? Triple Play would have been MVP before it rebranded, right? Because Triple Play was EA. They changed it, I think, for 03 or 04.
No, inside. Two and 0.
Everyone's saying 2K9 on PC. That's pretty old at this point. It's almost 20 years. No. (2-0) pop up down the line. I think he got taken out of the game. Yeah, that's the problem with doing player lock after a while is you'll get like 2 at-bats and get taken out. All right, so I got a couple games in here with Norby. Let's move on to the next guy. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Game Pass. I mean, could you have still played, like, when MLB was on Game Pass for not this past game, 25, but 23 and 24? Could you have played that on PC somehow? Gonna sim a few games, because that'll give me some more stats to look at. Let me save. I'm like so afraid of these games crashing or something. Holder up to 5 homers. His average is climbing without me at the wheel. Anybody else I want to see? Cole Carrigg, guys. Where's Cole Carrigg? At catcher. I want some Jacob Berry at-bats out there, too. Oh, I need some Alec Thomas. Oh, man. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move Thomas ahead of Holder. Or I'm going to put a couple guys here ahead of Holder so that if I player lock and get on base, I might be able to see Hank Holder a little bit. Let's go Alec Thomas because he's probably going to have a decent role. And then we'll get to some Cole Carrigg, whether it's outfield, catcher. I do want to see how he hits big league pitching for sure. Alec Thomas here in center field. Have I missed anything good? What do we tell him, guys? What do we tell Vinny? Has he missed anything good? Has he missed any Hank Holder home runs? All right. Alec Thomas.
Let's go, Thomas.
That was really good timing. Sometimes a guy just needs a fresh start. You know? You think David Ortiz opened with the Red Sox? He was with the Minnesota Twins first.
Ball.
Fans are saying that Holder could be overrated. They are not saying that. There are those in production meetings on First Take that are saying that. If they even do production meetings, like you can probably just wing it to get a spot on that show. I think the rest, less prep, the better. Just play a character. Bouncing ball to short. Hopped right to his glove.
Now, Marlins.
I think the Twins had moved on from Ortiz before I really got into watching. David Ortiz played with the Twins from 97 to 2002. That's probably right when I started watching, because I don't recall David Ortiz with the Twins. But in 2002, I would have been 10 years old. And I was you know, watching the Twins in the 2000s. But I don't really recall David Ortiz being part of it. Maybe I was a year off. Maybe I started watching the following year. So Jack Flaherty is with the Astros now. We got Framber Valdez now with the Braves. Let's see if we can cut this one off here. There's good speed flying. Okay, Alec Thomas. Ooh. Easy right there. How good is his arm? How good are those ratings? That's nice. It was also easier to do that in Showtime because I was able to make it a pretty accurate throw. Yeah, his defense is solid. Wouldn't say his arm is amazing, but it's certainly good. He also fits our, like, we had to get better defensively, so give a guy a second chance who can improve defense possibly if he has to play. That's what we need. Thomas in the air, right field. That ball's foul. Only 87 off the bat. Defense isn't why he's on our team. It's the offense that didn't work in Arizona and made him available to be on our team. This game looks fun. It's also relaxing to watch. Cheers. It is, you know, baseball is not the most intense game. It has its moments with a lot of build-up and anticipation. But otherwise, baseball is kind of like an athletic podcast. Like the third inning of every game is a podcast. But by the seventh, things might start getting pretty interesting.
Let's go, Jack. Ball.
Yeah, like the good announcers, you can enjoy the game without really watching the screen.
That's a ball.
Some guys do it really well on the radio. I tend to stick to TV broadcasts. But like between player interviews and stories and whatnot, like it's just fun to watch a baseball game sometimes. Just for the commentary aspect of it. That's going to left center. Alec Thomas is going to be on here with extra bases. I'm saying 3. And I don't want to be out. Third base coach said it. It was on the screen. I think the Blue Jays one is pretty good. I do like the Twins, especially when they have Trevor Plouffe on. I think that he's a really good third. Oh, my. He's running in. Alec Thomas. Oh, he makes the catch. That's my first time seeing that. When I'm watching a baseball game, though, I really like 3-man crews. Like when the Twins have their usual commentary team, but they add Trevor Plouffe to it. I feel like when you have like 2 former players along with the play-by-play guy, that's when the crew is at their best. Because the players, like, because they both played, they can kind of speak that language and communicate, and I think feed off each other more so. But you still need a play-by-play guy to be the host. But yeah, like most, I really enjoy watching most home team broadcasts. There are only a couple that I've never really been fond of. Like the White Sox have had a couple teams over the years that I don't like watching White Sox broadcasts. But like, why would you? I like watching, you know, Michael Kay with the Yankees, and I like the Rockies crew, but I feel bad for them because they're watching like a 4-16 team that's never won the division and probably never will win the NL West. All right, Cole Carrigg. The stream has finally begun, everybody, as Cole Carrigg, the Rule 5 first rounder, is here. Don't forget, when you're player locking catcher, you have to catch the ball. What a play by Cole Carrigg. He was set up for that pitch with perfect form. All right, he's hitting 100 with a 350 OPS. It is not going great at the plate.
Ball, that's off the plate.
I'd like for him to be serviceable this year and get better over time. And possibly, if he sticks around longer than a year, we could send him down to develop more at AAA. Like, this was a little bit early for him, but I mean, a lot of guys get drafted as like 60, mid-60 overall, like, catchers.
2 strikes.
And the flexibility and everything with him was just too good to pass on.
3.
My swings weren't great there. That's a strikeout. Only 11 at-bats, though. 1 hit makes the average palatable.
Ball 1.
87? What is he, a wide receiver? Yeah, we'll look at the number. 87, I associate that more with tight end.
1-1.
He's a two-way player. He's not a two-way player, but he can play catcher, outfield, short. He can pinch run because he has good speed. He's good in the field.
Ball.
Like everything
2
but
strikes.
the bat right now.
3.
But if he's primarily backup catcher, that's like the perfect spot to stash a guy because you're probably not getting a lot out of your backup catcher anyway. In real life, the Marlins have a Rule 5 pick at backup catcher. That's Liam Hicks, who just hit his first career home run the other day. Jordan Romano had a just disastrous outing. How many Philly fans in here are still upset about that game? 11-4 going into the 9th, and Jordan Romano gives up a career-high 6 runs. And then Jose Alvarado has to come in for a 1-out save.
Off the plate, ball 1.
Weekly hit up the middle.
Out.
And he's pinch hit 4. Where did Cole Carrigg go to college? He was a 3rd-round pick. I know that of the Rockies. Carrigg went... San Diego State. I'm a pass on playing against Tarek Skubal. Give me Paul Blackburn, though. Paul Blackburn. What is he known for on this channel, guys? Being the opening day starter in the A's franchise. I'm pretty sure he made the real-life opening day start that year. Now where is he? He's with the Mets,
And now,
where he has a 5.18 ERA, 24 innings, 4 homers allowed, 14 runs allowed,
Cardinals.
giving up a 1.5 whip. That was the best the A's could do at the time. Was Paul Blackburn. He was like a 77 overall. Maybe we could get Cole Carrigg going against Paul Blackburn is what I'm trying to say. Still better than Charlie Morton. Yeah, hoping that the 40-year-old pitcher still has something left is an interesting bet to make.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Okay, I don't know why nothing looked good there. Let's try this again. Carrigg lines one through, and he is on. Base hit. Cole Carrigg is on now, and he is a base-stealing threat. Not even looking at him here. We got to steal just out of principle.
Count is full. Southside.
All right, 2 on now. We're going to see Hank Holder step up, everybody. So kick back.
Now batting.
And let's see if we can get something big from the Phenom. Man, he's gotten even better since I was doing player lock games with him, guys. 279, 7 homers, 13 RBIs. Hank Holder at the plate.
Hee-haw.
Out in front.
1 and 2 is the count.
1 and 2. Takes low. Yeah, an OPS above 1 still. Probably like 50 at-bats. Grounds it. Backhanded. That'll be thrown away. Hank Holder drives him home. Mason Wynn saw Hank Holder, and he's like, oh, man. That's the greatest shortstop I've ever seen. Let me throw this into the dugout. I got this, Gorman. Step aside.
Now batting. Third baseman, Nolan.
Love a classic Kane guy. Loved A.T. Perry and every subsequent guy who kind of like A.T. Perry. Yeah, the A.T. Perry thing goes beyond what you guys even know. Carrigg muscling it to left, but it dies. I really bought into A.T. Perry when Jameis Winston threw up that ridiculous cross-field jump ball. I played A.T. Perry a couple times in DFS as a result of that, I think. I may have taken A.T. Perry receiving prop at one point. I still believe in A.T. Perry, but he should be on the same team as Jameis Winston, ideally. I don't know. I have an affinity for big go-up-and-get-it receivers that don't pan out. Not a good spot for me. I was not a Kelvin Benjamin guy, though. I wasn't. I was a Laquan Treadwell guy. That's who I wanted the Vikings to take. I got what I wanted, so... You know, I should be happy with what I got, right? I was, a Hakeem Butler guy, and last I saw, he was, like, tearing it up in the UFL or something. I was kind of a A.T. Perry guy. There was a guy, Antonio Gandy Golden. I think he retired after a year.
Batting third, the designated hitter.
I was a Drake London guy, and I was, like, afraid of that. Because I'm like, I clearly don't have a feel for this body type and whatnot. But Drake London wins differently than those guys. Like guys more in that mold that I've liked. You know, Tyler Boyd, you know, good size, good, you know, slot route running skill set. Not elite separators, but they can separate. I'm going to be honest, these last two pitches, I thought I was still playing catcher. I'm sitting here moving my left stick trying to catch the ball. Were you a Chris Matthews guy? I liked the Super Bowl he had, but I was never a big Chris Matthews guy. I was more indifferent. At least we have that opposite field single. I was a huge Kevin White guy, but injuries, man, were so bad to him.
Ball, that's inside.
Kevin White really had everything. He had total package skill set. I was massive Kevin White guy and Amari Cooper in the same year.
No, that's foul. No, inside.
Everybody was right on Cooper. Everybody liked Amari Cooper that year. But Cooper, he went after Kevin White, correct? This would have been the 2014-ish draft or something. All right, I want to hit with somebody else now. I don't have the confidence to hit with Cole Carrigg at the moment. Oh yeah, I was all in on Treadwell. I don't know, like watching him. There have been some guys where I watched them in college and it's like, wow, this guy is big and he's super talented. And then they get to the NFL and it's like, this guy is not big at all. He just looked big in college. That guy, one of those guys for me back in the day, Mark Ingram. I thought he was just like big power back. Then he gets to the NFL and he's like average size do-it-all back that catches passes pretty well. I remember thinking Trent Richardson was big in college. And then he goes to the NFL and he didn't look big anymore. And he certainly wasn't fast. Martavis Bryant. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a weird one, man. You play a receiver for the Steelers, and you're going to have a weird career arc, it seems. Yeah, Sidney Rice was a lot of fun in 2009. Guys like Rice, those like big go up and get it receivers, They really got to be coupled with the right quarterback, or they can be completely... Their potential can be completely unrealized without the right quarterback.
One ball, one strike.
This year, Alec Ayamanor is going to be the guy that doesn't pan out, if I had to guess. See, I really like him. I do like him a lot. I don't know a lot about many players, but I am more familiar with his game, going back to that late night Pac-12 after dark against the Buffaloes down 27 points.
No, that's a ball. 3-1.
3-1. The one I took down the middle, too, is still haunting me. It's got Hank Holder at the plate. Mackenzie Gore puts him away. Tough pitch. I feel good about Ayamanor because I don't think that he's that same archetype of receiver that I've consistently been wrong on. Oh, another guy I liked that didn't pan out, Aaron Dobson. If the Patriots like a receiver in the draft, that should be a red flag.
Ball. One ball, no strike.
I don't want the Patriots' opinion on a receiver until he's undrafted. Or if he's already in the league, like, yeah, anybody can trade a first rounder for Brandon Cooks or Randy Moss.
Strike two. One ball, two strike.
Oh, N'Keal Harry, of course. How can we forget N'Keal Harry?
Ball two. Two balls.
I didn't have as strong of an opinion on him.
Strike.
They should outlaw the changeup next. All right. Lights are out. It's easier to see the ball. Base hit left field. Let's go. Tyquan Thornton. Yeah, I was really excited about Tyquan Thornton. Okay, here's a deeper cut. This guy was like an internet draft crush for many. How many of you remember Trey McBride? I think in 2020 he was playing in like the UFL or something like that. Trey McBride.
Ball three.
Wait, Trey McBride? Yeah. TRE, not the tight end. It's just TRE, Trey.
Strike.
I really just got my brain pretzeled right there.
Pinch hitting for the Marlins, number 33.
He was like a 7th rounder. I was trying to time him.
On the tag, you're out.
How long have we been doing this? Not even 2 hours and my brain is fried.
Strike. Woo.
99, okay. We're going to lean forward for this guy. Jackson Rutledge.
Strike. Woo. 0-2.
I still believe in Rondale Moore. This is the year.
Nope, that's high.
Because he's been picked up by the Vikings. He can replace Brandon Powell. He didn't play at all last year. He tore his knee in August with the Falcons. That was probably the missing piece for them between making and missing the playoffs, honestly. All right, that was a rough game. Ravens ex-receiver legend Miles Boykin. Okay, here's an example. I was not a Miles Boykin guy. I don't just blindly like every receiver that's like 6'4" and has a couple good boxing out highlights. I was not a Miles Boykin guy. Another guy I wasn't a fan of. I remember in the green room, he was still available. They were fawning over him the entire time. I'm like, guys, I just don't see it the way you do. Even Mayock, when he was on NFL Network. Ruben Randall. I didn't think he was a first-round guy at all. All right, we're getting back on track this game. I've had some good games here at this park today. The possibility of the Eagles moving up, if you trade down to give the Eagles a number 4 pick, your franchise should be, like, shunned from existence. Under no circumstances do you allow the Eagles to move into the top 5 for Abdul Carter. Why am I swinging at that?
0-1. High. No balls.
Come on, Hank. Hitting 278. Not that time. I don't know how they could get up there. You're not getting up there with just picks, I don't think. A first this year, a first next. You still have to come up with more than that. Player talent, too, not just picks.
Ball 2.
Bishop Sankey. Vikings signed him for about 5 minutes.
Full count. Ball 4. Take your base.
You missed your spot, Jack. You can't be mad. That was the most bailed out walk. I'll take that. Norby.
1 ball. 2 strikes.
Surprised nobody tried the trade for Tanner McKee this offseason? The Joe Milton trade to me was a weird one. Like, I could see why you'd be intrigued and want him. But if you're the Patriots, like, why give up Milton for what you got back?
Now batting, number 2.
Just because you, like, came out ahead on the transaction math for what you put into him? I didn't think trading him made sense if you weren't getting more. We're talking about the team here that gave up a 4th rounder for Jonathan Mingo, and you didn't fleece them? What's wrong with you? This team lights 4th round picks on fire just to stay warm in the wintertime. With Trey Lance and Jonathan Mingo. Hank Holder's laying out. And didn't make the play that time.
Up next for the Astros.
You're not getting there. I haven't homered in a while. Not getting one here, but that is going to be an infield single. Yep, I picked it up, and that's going to be it for this play.
Now batting, left fielder Connor Norby.
Did you just take away a stolen base, Connor?
Strike. 1-2.
When do you think Jalen Milroe gets drafted? You know, the team I'm like wondering what their plan is Pittsburgh. Because for most of the offseason, I've just been kind of like, all right, when is the Aaron Rodgers domino going to fall? And it doesn't fall. And it's like, the more and more we get to the draft, the more it feels like they're just going to take like Jackson Dart and be done with it. Or Milroe or something. They're not going to get Sanders or Cam Ward. I feel like this is going to be Kenny Pickett part 2, where they're just going to like, you know, they're just going to take a guy there in the first round maybe. Holder up the middle. We hit the ball hard earlier. Now we're just taking our cheap singles and padding batting average. He does get on base a lot. He's been drawing a lot of walks. He's hitting close to 300.
Runner.
Thank you, Connor, for taking. As we swipe second base. To me, the Steelers have 2 options. 3 options. Beg for Aaron Rodgers, which doesn't seem to be the Steeler way. 2, stick and pick Jackson Dart, and everybody wonders why they didn't see it coming. Or 3, you go to John Lynch's house, and you say you're not leaving until you have a deal for Brock Purdy. Those are your 3 options, Pittsburgh. I'm interested in who ends up there, just given the receiving talent. What are the Saints going to do with Carr out? They just might have, what's his face play all year? Spencer Rattler. I kept wanting to say Spencer Strider. All right, what do we got for a time here, fellas? 2 hours, roughly? Oh, Robbie Snelling's getting kind of tore up here. Adrian Morejon, I forgot about getting a chance to play with him. Any Adrian Morejon fans in the chat? Am I familiar with Tyler Shook? Vaguely familiar. Maybe I can get a little game in here. Just play all our guys. Some of the new faces. Let me save one more time. I feel like Darnold behind that old line is going to be a disaster. It could be. Like, you know, Darnold looked like a different guy until those last couple games. And it's hard to unsee. So, you know, is the real Sam Darnold still somewhere in the middle there? Is my question. Between, you know, who he was for the first 15 games versus the end of the season. I edited all that stuff just for me to be facing a lefty and have to do it all over again. That's really cool. Can Sanoha play third? No. He has to play second. Let's get, in this game, I'm going to try playing Norby in left. I'm going to play Edwards in center for a game. And then Alec Thomas, I'm okay if he just DHs. No, I'll have him maybe in right. Yeah, I'm just going to take Jock Peterson out, I think. Just kind of playing with a lot of the backups here I want and moving guys around to different roles. Jonah Bride. Anybody else want to play some first today? Yeah, we'll get Stowers in there. If you aren't hyped up for the third hour of this stream right now to watch all these guys in the spring training finale, I don't know what's wrong with you. I used to be a Justin Fields truther, but that train has left the station. To me, if it ever works out, I can't picture it working out with the Jets. It just can't. It's a hard one to wrap your head around. I would have been more on board with the Steelers keeping him for another year and just kind of like giving it to him for the season. Yeah, get Scooble out of here. I don't want to face him. Hank Holder versus Tarek Scooble.
Ball.
Maybe rest up for opening day. Bounced it. That's foul. I was still a little late. Change-ups are really killing me today. Hank Holder strikes out, and we'll go to Alec Thomas. And this should be more of a full-length start for Scooble here in the finale, so I'm going to see a lot of him if I can't give them a reason to pull him. Strike zone 3 camera. I don't know what that one would be. I like my view here. I want to be able to see, you know, my full player, first and third base. I don't know if what you're talking about is more of a zoomed in view where you can see the strike zone more full. I actually don't like that game or like that camera, and I don't think it's great for content. To me, that's like a competitive camera. If you're trying to play a game to, like, you know, just play competitively, that's probably what I recommend. But I would never play with that for franchise.
Strike. 0-1. Ball. 2-1.
He has almost hit 2 guys.
That's a ball.
3-1. Also, I've been using this camera for like 5 or 6 years. Every time the show comes out, I just recreate it based off a screenshot I have of it. Norby lifting it out to left, but that's going to be an easy play. Nothing off Scooble in the first, as we'll toss Valente Biozzo, and then I'd like to get a look at some of the newer arms here at some point. But I guess I played Snelling in the rotation to see if he was ready to take on a spot in the opening day rotation. And if I just want to base some of these decisions off of this spring training production, he doesn't seem as ready as I would like. Which means we could see Biozzo get maybe that 5th spot in the rotation.
No.
Possibly.
Ball. 3-1.
Let's see. We got Perez, Cabrera, Weathers, Max Meyer. Who's the 5th guy? Where does Quinn Ewers land? You know who? Sean Payton is probably a Quinn Ewers guy. But he already took Bo Nix last year.
Ball. 2 balls. 1 strike.
Now, what's the recent word with the whole Brock Purdy stuff? I'm not super up on the NFL stuff all right now. I've kind of tuned a lot of it out, and I haven't had a working phone in like 5 days.
Ball 4. Take your base.
All right, we're in some trouble. Just once, I'd like to actually see one of these teams that doesn't extend the quarterback and actually does, like, no, we like this rookie quarterback thing. We're going to go in a different direction here, and we don't think that at $50, $60 million this still is good enough. No one's willing to make that bet. The one guy I thought it made the most sense to make that bet on was when the Rams had Jared Goff and they paid him. To me, that was the most obvious time to not pay and actually trade a guy.
Down. Ball.
Not saying they should trade Purdy, but eventually I just want to see a team take that bet.
Full count. That's a ball. Take your base.
To me, it was Tua. Yeah, I don't think most people are like huge Tua defenders. I'm not the biggest Tua fan, but wow, the Dolphins are so much better with him than without.
Ball 1.
Mark Viento, space is loaded. We haven't recorded an out.
Ball. 2-2.
And that's about the change.
Batting fifth, the shortstop, Francisco Lindor.
Ball.
Got Cole Carrigg behind the dish here. What tips and tricks do you guys have for an MLB franchise? I don't know that much about baseball. Got the game a few weeks ago. Been playing Road to the Show. Yeah, if you're super new, there are some things that are going to be a little difficult in the beginning. You know, like your core roster is 26 players, but there's also a 40-man roster, which is like a separate roster that combines your MLB players with players who are eligible to be called up, basically. A player has to be on the 40-man roster before they can be on the 26.
Ball 4.
Players need 6 years of MLB service time before they're eligible for free agency, so their salaries are a lot smaller the first 6 years of their career. And free agency isn't really where teams do any rebuilding. Not like in the NFL where, you know, you'll have a bad team with $100 million cap space and they go out and sign the best defensive tackle and cornerback. That's not at all how baseball works, and part of it is because baseball players hit free agency closer to the end of their athletic prime. Now, baseball players don't age the same as NFL players, so once you're 32, you're not completely useless. But it's still a bet that's not good to take on as a rebuilding team. Can we get out of here giving up just the one? I think one thing I'd say if you're doing an MLB franchise for the first time is the way players get better in the show is primarily based off of their production in relation to their age and potential. So there are times when MLB plays out perfectly, like a guy struggles against left-handed pitching, so his ratings go lower against left-handed pitching. But it's not always predictable and what you're expecting to happen. But basically, if you have a guy who is struggling, he is going to be developing a lot slower. So you want to get used to like sending guys up and down between single A, double A, triple A. Now in MLB The Show, like there aren't actually single A games. Players just kind of develop there, and there's no schedule or lineup or anything. You can't play it. But at double and triple A, there are games. And if a guy is succeeding at that level, they'll develop. If they're not, then they're probably not going to get a whole lot better. Too late. A ride, though, to center. Yeah, it's a good start there. That's a good start. You know, there's definitely some good YouTube tutorials out there, or you can even just like watch, you know, someone do an off season or even a rebuild if you want to see somebody just go through a bunch of years and how they go about managing, you know, their draft picks, where they're assigning them and how they're handling the off season. The Rockies will give you a lot of work, though, if that's where you want to begin. That's one of the toughest teams to rebuild.
Ball 2.
Cole Carrigg against Tarek Skubal.
Ball 3. Full count.
This has just been a stream where I've had to take a lot of pitches, it feels like. I don't know yet if I think the Angels are legit. I'm hesitant to buy into the Angels after what we've seen in recent years, but you know, to see guys like Kyron Paris play this well and for them to be winning games even when Trout was just in a big cold streak, broke out of it with a 2-home-run game. We'll have to see if it's for real. There are definitely some teams that'll lie to you this time of year.
Ball.
I'm doing a White Sox rebuild. God, they are so awful. They got some prospects, but yeah, it's a similar situation to Miami, where that first roster is like, what am I working with here?
Ball 4.
I drew a
Take your
walk.
base.
Stowers! Oh, that one goes to the wall. And we're going to wave Sanoha here. And Kyle Stowers has just put us on the board. The legend continues. We'll always have the second game of the series with that first inning grand slam. And now, a spring training double against Tarek Skubal. Let that fall, please. Bloop in. No. I've been content with the A's start to the year. I want to give the A's some credit for putting together a really fun core the last couple years. When my franchise got underway, they were so much less interesting than they are today. Lawrence Butler was in the minors. You know, wasn't rated highly enough potential-wise in the show. They got Brent Rooker, you know, who hasn't been as hot this year, but your MLB home run leader, I believe, is still the one and only Tyler Soderstrom. So, I mean, there is the building of a core there, and that's what you need when you're in that situation. You need 4 to 6 players where you're like, yeah, these guys are legit. They fit in together. They play well together. And we can develop them and put the pieces in around them. And they have a core. Yeah, Jacob Wilson is, like, his numbers so far are very Luis Arraez-like. Very high batting average, very low walk rate, very low strikeout rate. He's one of like the least strikeout and least walked guys in the MLB so far this year. They just called up their number 4 pick. Who'd they call up? I gave Lawrence Butler a chance, but he didn't really pan out with us, unfortunately. Are we going to get a Jags vid soon? I'm not sure when I'll do the next Jags video. It's not the biggest priority this week, but I'd like to get another one. They already called up Kurtz?
The left fielder, number 30.
Already? We got him and Augustine Ramirez? Going to be a fun week of baseball then. You know, quick counts in spring training, I think, is actually a really good idea. I'm not in this case because it's like the only full game I'm playing, so I don't mind having like every pitch handled here. But if I wanted to get through more games, like quick counts would make some sense just for the reps.
No, that's down.
Yeah, we talked exactly about that Romano outing a little bit earlier. Because I was watching at the time, yes. It was basically the worst outing of his entire Major League career.
Ball, no.
And the Twins called up Luke Keeschel. He had a really good first series against the Braves. Had a really good hit for a double against Sale. He hit in all 3 games.
Leading off for Miami, the center fielder, number 9, Xavier.
The Marlins have been surprisingly fun to watch. Like, they haven't been as bad as they were supposed to be 20 games into the year. Unfortunately, despite them being a 500 team right now, they're still not really drawing fans, and it's so weird how they aren't a huge draw in Miami. But also, there's a history of them not really putting a good enough product on the field for a long time or keeping guys around. You know, when I really took a break from baseball from about 2010 to like 2015, 2016, and a big reason was because the Twins kept getting rid of players I really liked watching. And I think that type of thing could be playing out in Miami when you see a guy like Yelich come up. He's gone. A guy like Stanton is there. He's gone. Every pitcher they've had the last 5 years. That playoff team they had 2 years ago is basically wiped clean. And that's a really fatiguing thing to go through as a fan. I forgot about JT Realmuto being there, honestly.
No, off the plate.
Hank Holder.
Ball.
Yeah, with the Twins, for me, the first was letting Torrey Hunter go in free agency. And that was tough. Then it was trading away Johan Santana, which I absolutely could not stand. But one of the players they got in return was Carlos Gomez, and I immediately latched on to him when the Twins added him. And then what they do, they traded Carlos Gomez for J.J. Hardy, who was terrible, until he left the Twins and was good again. And it was like the combination of those 3 moves, the lack of postseason success. I didn't really care about the first year in Target Field, 2010. I just kind of stopped watching baseball for like 5 years. Very little baseball from 2010 to 2015. Then I got back into it.
Ball.
Runner.
Holder's going. Safe.
1-2.
Now, should I have stopped watching around that time? Like, it would have been nice to be around for the 2010 season. But 2011, terrible. 2012, terrible. 13, terrible. 14, terrible. Not sad that I missed on those years.
2-2.
And I think the Twins are approaching a point now where they really have to consider what direction they're going to be trying to go in now. Because the Twins, I don't think, have a good core at this time. Not a good enough core. And there's something seriously wrong within the organization. Everything from ownership, coaching, like, it's just not good.
Up next for the Marlins,
They're trying to sell. Their asking price is probably too high. They're already drawing less attendance this year than last. Apparently a 9% drop in attendance. Fan apathy is very high right now. Base hit right field. Holder will hold at third as we load them up. But I do think that the Twins have a very good possibility of being a big-time seller this year. And to me, the Twins selling would look like maybe Buxton, Correa, if he waives the clause and the Twins eat some money, and the ownership's okay with that. Joe Ryan, maybe Pablo. I think the Twins could possibly tear it down.
One, two.
Oh, Duran. Duran could definitely be traded. What I wonder then is what they would do with a guy like Royce Lewis, who's still young, but, you know, where does he land in that situation? And my thing there is I don't think you're getting a good enough return to move him. I don't think anybody's giving you a haul for Royce Lewis, given the injuries. My favorite current MLB player, Mookie Betts. Wait a minute. I was trying to warm him up, but I forgot I changed my settings. I don't have to. That's okay. Biozo wasn't pitching that well. It's time for Adrian Morejon. No, his name is not Morjon. Morejon.
No, that's a ball. One ball, no strikes.
Is Ben Rice legit in your eyes? He's been really good this year. I don't know. I don't really usually take a hard stand on if I think a guy's first few weeks are real or not.
One ball, two strikes.
I'm not really in the business of doubting lefty sluggers in New York either.
Ball two. Two balls, two strikes. Ball, no.
You gotta do it every time, Soto. 3-2. Got him! Adrian Morejon picks up a strikeout. There is a chance he becomes our closer, by the way. Probably not right away. We'll still have the same role there for Emilio Pagan, but he did close out games last year for the Padres in the franchise. And he's on a multi-year contract.
No. 1-0.
I definitely didn't see this whole Ben Rice thing coming up, though. Like, I know last year when they called him up, he had like a couple fun moments early, and then it just kind of seemed to fizzle away, and then he's back again this year, and just more so phenomenal so far 3 weeks in. I also really wasn't sure if Goldschmidt would be that great or what he would still have left, but Goldie's numbers are pretty incredible as well. I'm curious. Judge and Goldschmidt, total hits versus the Twins. Aaron Judge this year has 32 hits. Paul Goldschmidt has 30. So 62 hits. And the Twins as a team, I know it's more than 62. The Twins as a team are fourth worst with 153. So together, Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt have 40.5% of the Twins' number of hits. Just between those two.
No strikes. That's a foul
The
ball.
Twins' offense is putrid to watch. It's awful. I did see the Reds yesterday. They wouldn't stop scoring.
Ball.
Just kind of waiting for Skubal to leave the game soon. I've worked his pitch count up. Well, the thing is, the Orioles might not be able to pitch, but they can win a game 8-6. This stat is insane. I saw a stat last night. The Twins haven't won a game where their opponent scored more than 3 since September 11th of last year. They have lost like their last 22 or 24 games when their opponent scores more than 3. You know how pathetic that is? You can't beat a team unless your pitcher shuts them out pretty much. Stowers is 2 for 2 off Skubal.
Now batting, the third baseman, Holly.
No. One
Trent
out.
Grisham looked really good yesterday, especially in center field. He had a pretty spectacular play out there.
No, that's in.
Has Sugano been their best starter so far? His numbers are really weird. I was looking at him yesterday. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, by the way. I haven't watched him play or heard anybody else say his name before. But 21 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts. I don't think that's super sustainable on the ball being in play that much. But it's working for now.
Burgers, yeah, we got juicy burgers. Hey.
Christian Campbell, Rookie of the Year. We could be headed for that. I want to watch some more Red Sox games. I was working on some stuff earlier today, and like they must have started playing at like noon Eastern time, because they were in the 4th inning, and I'm like, what do you mean they're already in the 4th inning? Stowers! Oh! Nope. I appreciate that, Zach. Over a decade and you're not sick of the content yet? That's incredible. Strider back on IL. Are you serious?
1-2.
What is he on the IL with?
Ball.
Oh, Boston Marathon. Okay. I'm pretty sure I have asked this exact question before for the same reason. Strained hamstring for Strider.
I-3.
Paint. Been watching since Marquise Walker, huh? Do you guys think I don't do enough player-based content? I can't believe Drew Jones just got to that. That was kind of freaky right there.
Number 10, second baseman, Roddy Mauricio.
Ball.
I guess I'm not used to a guy in the corner having that kind of speed.
Ball 2.
I prefer the team base, but I like it still. Jamel Fleming was a great pick. Thank you. That was one of my first successes. Unfortunately, nobody in that draft class that I took ended up being like great in real life, because Madden 12's like, you could import draft classes from NCAA 12 to Madden 12, and you could for, you know, that entire era of NCAA games. But like the way they would project over, it'd be like random who was actually good. So my big picks in that series, most of you won't even remember these names, but Nate Potter at tackle and Jamel Fleming at corner, neither of which had like a... Oh, I wanted to warm up again. Neither of which had like a significant NFL career. Just new pitcher mid at bat, you know. Totally normal. Put him away. I just went through your entire Jags rebuild in a week. So addicting. Yeah, I think I got the series back on track with that one. I'm not sure how much more of the Jags there will be, but I think the series has served its purpose, and I think I'll be a lot more excited now to get a new one underway when Madden drops. You're so lucky. Why is Hank Holder jacked? God, his biceps are massive. He was wearing the sleeves earlier, so he was hiding the guns a little bit. Dude, Hank Holder looks like the arm wrestling world champion.
Ball three. Full count. Hard three.
It's been a great spring for him. I was a tad late on that swing. I was a tad early on that swing.
No balls.
Hank the new Ellie. Not a terrible comparison. Ellie, Witt.
No.
Ellie's catch yesterday, by the way, that was insane. That was one of the best catches I think I've seen from a shortstop.
No, that's a ball.
I don't know if there's more than one shortstop in the league that makes the catch he made. It might just be him.
Now batting, left fielder Connor Norby.
Like, the catch Ellie made was on a similar hit to that. A little more in the air, but it looked like a standard line drive in the center, and he just stole it.
Oh, 1.
Ellie also leads the majors in errors. Does he really?
No balls. 2 strikes.
I, too, am wondering where the contact was there, Drew.
Ball 1.
Shame the Twins are 7-15. Sorry, Kane. That's okay. They're just merely getting the proper return on investment. So hard to be mad at that.
Full count.
Like when you didn't study for a test and you blew it, were you really mad at, you know, wow, I can't believe I failed that test. I'm so mad at my outcome. No, you should be mad at the lack of preparation. That's where the Twins are right now. They didn't study for the test.
That's a ball.
Hey, the Braves just swept the Twins. They saved their season. And the thing is the Braves have talent. They just weren't playing.
Yeah.
You know, I knew the Twins were the antidote that Matt Olson needed.
Ball 2.
Could feel it all weekend. Matt Olson's about to turn things around. Pirates fan here. Want to talk about lack of preparation? Yeah, that's another organization. I don't like the way they do things. Soriano. Yeah, if Jock Peterson could spend a series playing against the Twins, he'd come out of there with at least 4 hits and 2 homers. The thing is, too, the Twins did have a couple things going for them coming into the year, and one of the main things is their bullpen, and their bullpen's been awful this year. Griffin Jack says, was listening to a podcast earlier. Griffin Jacks has entered games 4 times this year where the Twins have had like a 92% or greater chance of winning. And they've lost 3 of those 4. But he's blown like 4 leads where they've had a 90+% chance of winning already. They managed to come back in extras to still win one of them.
2-2.
But they're not scoring a lot of runs, and the pitching isn't protecting the small leads that they are getting.
Full count. Take your base. Ball 4.
All right, Juan Soto.
Hee-haw.
Love the Twins therapy every stream. You know, it's not as bad as it sounds. The Twins are as bad as it sounds, but my mental state isn't as bad as it sounds, is what I'm trying to say. Because, like I said, the Twins are merely getting the proper return on their investment. They're getting what they put into the team. See you later, Soto. Another guy who started to figure out his offense this year because he played against the Twins this last week. He hit 2 homers in 3 games against them.
Ball 1. It's it out.
It's a journey over there with Stowers at first, but it's been okay.
Now pitching for the New York Mets,
Lucas Giolito.
Lucas Giolito.
Carrigg is our number 20 prospect, but he's actually at the majors.
Ball. 1-1. High.
Now, spring training games in real life do not go to extras. I'm guessing in the show that they do go to extras, right? Because I don't want to play extra innings. We have to score. The plan with Carrigg is still to let him be the backup catcher. And roster spot for now is safe. Like, we need a backup catcher no matter what. But I also like that he can do so much more than just that, because his speed is useful. He can back up other positions and be like a late game defensive sub if need be.
Ball.
Like, the hitting is all kind of extra right now. His role is the other stuff. I was checking on my cat. He's been napping in here all stream. He hasn't
Ball 2.
caused any trouble. I'm not waking him up. If he gets up on his own, then I will bring him over here, but I'm not waking him up from his nap.
Full count.
Otherwise, he will likely be
Hey.
on top of my computer tower, causing my video signal to go in and out, walking across my PlayStation. No, he's doing fine right now.
Hurry. No balls. One strike.
End of stream. If he's still hanging around, I'll wake him up.
One, two.
One and two. Kyle Stowers is 1 for 2, but he was a lot better facing Tarek Skubal. All right, let's get Thomas White. He's giving up a pretty high batting average. We'll work on it. What's the cat's name? My boy cat here, his name is Neo.
Number 20. Thomas.
He's like a 13, 14 pound kitten.
Just foul. Ball. 2-1.
Francisco Lindor still playing here in the 6th inning of the spring training finale.
2 balls. 2 strikes.
Oh, what a pitch to Lindor. I'm sure he'll get up soon. We'll get to the we'll get Neo here in a little bit. He's tired, guys. Why would you want to interrupt his nap that bad?
Ball. No.
Am I surprised with Vlad signing with the Blue Jays?
No.
It kind of seemed like we were nearing like a departure of some kind. I think it's exciting for the Jays to have like a superstar to build around, but there's like a lot of work to do because I think that core is kind of in a weird spot. With some guys taking a step back and guys like Springer being a lot older than, you know, most guys are going to be in that core for a while. Springer's playing well this year.
No strikes.
But it takes a lot to compete in that division, especially here in 2025, given where the Orioles have become. And then, you know, maybe they're not playing up to the potential right now, but I'm really excited about Boston the next handful of years. If things work out, the next 10 years. Ooh. Graham Pauley just drives one to right center, but easily in the park. When are the bench bats coming in? Well, these kind of are our bench bats. You know, I started this game with a lot of guys that won't be every day.
No balls. 2 strikes.
What else is going on rest of the day, guys? What do we got for sporting fun tonight? I know Twins day off, so maybe I'll watch some big inning
Ball. No.
and some other games. I'm guessing the Wolves and Lakers play tonight. I would like to catch some of that.
That's an out.
New York and Cleveland right now. Tigers, Padres. Raw after Mania. Reds play the Marlins.
Steer right.
All right. I don't know why his slider is so nasty right now. Tomorrow for Wolves Lakers? It's got to be every other day, man, when they're in the same city.
1-1.
The NBA playoffs are already long enough.
Ball.
The NBA is wild, though. I can't believe the Nuggets fired their coach with like 4 days to go into season or whatever it was. That stuff just doesn't happen in other sports.
Out.
Now pitching for the Marlins. Number 61. Robbie Snelling.
Owner hated both of them. The timing is just... Why not after the season? You have a ring with these guys.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ball.
Like, coach stability changes so fast in the NBA. You're not even safe when you're, you know, a guaranteed playoff team. Like, if you have a team as good as the Nuggets in the NFL, you will be there as long as you want, basically. I would compare the Bills with, like, McDermott, but the Nuggets got a championship out of Malone. So, what's a better comparison? Like, good team that has never finished the job but is consistently good. Like Kyle Shanahan. Is Mike Malone Kyle Shanahan? Mike Tomlin, maybe? No. The Steelers... They'd be the NBA's 8th seed that gets bounced for nothing for 5 straight years. Round 1 of the draft falls on my birthday this year. That's a good night right there. For me, sometimes the first game of the year lands on my birthday. So happy early birthday to you, Rec. 49ers don't have a Jokic. Bosa. Fred Warner.
1-0.
Like, out of all the NBA teams that have won recent titles, a lot of them have already moved on from their coaches. The Bucks did it. Nick Nurse got fired. Malone fired. Just a totally different landscape. Nuggets are the Bengals? No, the Bengals, the Nuggets have a ring, though. My favorite sport to watch is football. To play, I'd say generally I like playing the show more than Madden or college football even. And the reason being is because the show out of every sports game is the most out-of-the-box simulation focused.
Ball 2.
Top 8, 1 apiece. What a game.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Not many base runners here. 4 hits to 1. I'm pitching a 1-hitter and didn't even realize it. It's like the Rams firing McVay week 15 this year. Exactly. That's unimaginable. But I need one more good hit today at least. I was really that early on it. I appreciate that, Willie. Thank you for the super chat. Seen your name here many, many times before. The Rams and Nuggets have the same owner? Kroenke owns the Nuggets? I never knew that. Is that... Can we get a fact check on that? I know he owns a Premier League team. Probably a bunch of other stuff. Bouncing it through is Drew Jones. Anybody think we're actually bringing home this 2-out single? Drew Jones going. Good try. I left after the third homer. How's Hank doing? Hank's done really well, and he simulated even better than I was playing with him. I don't think you missed me hitting any homers with him. I hit 3. And I haven't homered since with anybody else. Getting antsy for another one. My swings have been not great with Carrigg.
2-2.
A base hit just gives us the lead, guys. That's all we need. It's not that out of the question, Cole. That was my chance. The game was saying, good job taking that pitch in the dirt. This is going to be your one to hit. And you blew it. You stink at this game. Yep. I'm probably going to have to win this thing in extras.
Number 2, Louis Dunham. Acuna. Now pitching for the Marlins.
It's a good spring here for Dylan Coleman. See if we can add on to it. I watched this guy play a lot in the last week. Luis Angel Acuna. Pretty good player. Twins have the younger Acuna brother in their system, Brian Acuna. I think he's like 19, so don't expect to see him at the majors anytime soon.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Wow. What a hit on that pitch.
Hitting for the Mets. Number 15,
Tyler Wade.
Wade.
Runner, runner, runner.
He's taking off. Good try, but now the Mets have the go-ahead run at second base. This is going to be a dilemma. He tried bunting and it hit him. Wow. And now we're going to see him try to run on Drew Jones, I imagine. And the go-ahead run is there at third.
Pinch hitting for the Mets. Number 89, Drew Gilbert.
Tie, that hit him.
Sorry.
Pinch hitting for the Mets. Number 7,
I am trying to pitch inside a little bit. Not going to lie.
Inside.
All right. 1 and 2. Let's see if we can get the strikeout here.
Ball 2.
He owns the Rams, the Avalanche, the Nuggets, Arsenal, and more. So there's like a couple Denver-based teams there. But basically a team in every major league. Does he have a baseball team, or does he want to buy the Twins? They're for sale.
Full count.
Someone's got to buy them, though. Sooner than later. Ooh, it tied him up.
hitting for the Mets. Number 1, Jeff. Not here. Now pitching for the Marlins.
And nobody wants the Twins is like the unfortunate truth. I don't know if anybody actually wants them as an asset.
No, that's a ball. 1 ball, no strike.
One and 2. No. Look how cool Cole Carrigg looks at catcher.
Full count.
Full count. Base hit center field. He left it up. That's Edwards in center. Nice throw, Xavier. But we're down 1 now.
Outside, ball 2.
All right, let's get this over with, Hogan. Not so fast. Another run will score. It's 3-1 New York. They break through in the 8th inning. Oh, I haven't got my 3-batter minimum yet, and I'm already trying to take a guy out. Not a good sign. But one more chance for us. We have to get 2. So who's hitting here in the final inning of the spring training?
Now playing right field. Number 15.
We're going to get Javier Sanoja, the 7, 8, 9 hitters.
A defensive change for the Mets. Now playing third base. Number 23.
Ball.
Nick Morabito.
And here we go. Lucas Ursagon. I was ready for that triple-digit one. Still a little late. It can go higher, though.
No. Ball.
Gotta get that leadoff man on here. Ah.
Full count.
Swung at ball 4. And now 3-2. Hank's had a really good spring. Now the high fastball's tough.
A defensive change for the Mets.
Now, Hank Holder has looked very, very promising. I think we got exactly what we wanted out of this spring from him. Stowers now. Discovered your channel from the Marlins series. Looking forward to the next video. Love hearing that. There'll be more Marlins coming this week. I imagine the next episode is probably for Wednesday. And then I'll try to get a couple more up this week. If possible, it'd be nice to do back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday.
Ball 2.
Why do some pitches end up so far off, even if you aim in the strike zone? Because accuracy isn't a guarantee. You know, hitting a spot is tough. And some guys miss by more than others. Yeah, this fastball, this is the first triple-digit fastball I've seen today, I think, and not handling it. Until Paulie hits a missile up the middle, but that was on a changeup. So we'll turn the lineup over now. We get to Xavier Edwards, and if he can get on, then Hank Holder would be next.
Ball 1.
Starting to throw that change up a little more. He's just showing off the ability to change some speeds on me. And then the sinker. That's a tough combination. When you can go a triple-digit fastball with a change-up and then the sinker, it's too much there. So Hank Holder ends up in the on-deck circle, and it looks like his spring is over. Made it through the spring, though. Pretty healthy. And we're going to get ready for opening day here shortly, and it looks like Hank Holder is going to be on the Major League team. You know, I wanted to see would the production be there, what would it feel like hitting with him, and he ends up in the spring hitting 282, 394 on base, one of our best, and the highest OPS on the team. Drew the most walks with the highest slugging percentage. How about home runs? He had 8, double more than anybody else. So, you know, if he had done poorly, I could understand maybe starting him off at AA or AAA. But when he is that good, he's just going to be on the opening day roster then. So Hank Holder looks to be everything we wanted him to be so far. Jock Peterson hit 212 with 4 homers. Alek Thomas, 238. We're asking him to play a bench role, and we'll see if we have to option him. But we got a couple of years to sort this out now with Alek Thomas, see if he gets better. And yeah, Cole Carrigg wasn't great, but the backup catcher role is not really one we're going to determine solely based off of offense when he can do so much, I think, to help us out over the course of the year. So I'm looking forward to the real thing getting up here this week. Year 3 in the Marlins franchise is coming soon. I'm 2 hours late, so just saw your question about random streams. I work 2 jobs, so I prefer the episodes. I love catching streams when I can. Yeah, I know streams aren't going to be for everybody, but, you know, it's not just streams like for MLB that I was asking about, but like to play games I don't otherwise get a chance to play, whether it's a 15-year-old 2K game or the newest one. I think that's my way of getting it. More games played, to try more things, and in the right streams, those can become videos if cool things happen and we have some fun. That is going to do it for me today, everybody. I only owe you one thing before I sign off here. Come here, buddy. Come here, you gotta wake up now. Come here. Oh, come here, big boy. He's crying. You guys made him cry. Can you believe that? You made him cry. You made him cry. This is my little guy, Neo. He is about a year and 4 months old. And he's like 13, 14 pounds, but still has kitten energy. Outside of the long 3+ hour nap you just took. Gonna watch the whole thing later. Thanks, Kane. I appreciate that. I'm not sure if my camera is low enough. Oh, I think we're good. You are so calm right now. That's not like you. Do you think it's a good idea to rebuild the Angels? Definitely. They got fun pieces and a big budget. I would love an Angels rebuild, and I probably would have picked them if I wasn't specifically looking for free agency to be very tough for me. I wanted it to be very difficult to build through free agency in this series, so I wanted a low-budget team. Would you like to get up now? You need to eat dinner. And so do I. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. No video. I've been working on a Buffalo Dynasty episode, but it's going to be going up tomorrow. And then I'll be doing a lot more Marlins here this week. So thank you all for coming to the stream today. We'll have to do this again soon for games in Season 3. And we'll see what steps the team can take this year. It should be a lot of fun now that we're starting to get this team a little more developed and we have the one and only Hank Holder to guide us into the future. Take care, everybody, and have a good one.